What's up, everybody? It's time for an after convention review. So I saw this movie in 2018 at Texas Frightmare. I have mentioned it before, I think. I do have a vlog that you can check out in the card above of everything that I did at Texas Frightmare 2 years ago. It was my very first horror-themed convention I've ever been to. I've been to it twice. I wouldn't mind going again, although I still have the same kind of gripes about it, but as far as a convention, it's a pretty great one for, interacting with your favorite actors and other creatives in the industry, and also making new friends, and also checking out movies before everybody else gets to, which is always fun. This movie was a movie I was not really planning on seeing when I saw it in the program. In their program, they'll list all the movies that they'll be showing. That doesn't include the special stuff that they show at Alamo Drafthouse before the actual convention begins. But they have a section of shorts that they show, and they also show some stuff that is submitted by other people who are in the film industry. And then they also do the more bigger budgeted stuff that has, stars that you would recognize. So when I first got there, I checked out all the different movie selections, picked out the stuff that sounded the most interesting, and tried to make tried to budget my time to see said movies. One of them I've already done a review for, which is Deviant Behavior, which you can totally check in the card above. I really enjoyed it. I look forward to rewatching it again, and also owning it in a physical copy. I also got to see some shorts, which I vaguely remember, but not enough to actually do a video for. I also got to see a good chunk of Takashi Miike's As the Gods Will, which I will do a review of at some point, but I do need to properly rewatch it from beginning to end, because I missed so much of the beginning due to waiting in line to get Tobin Bell's autograph, which was totally worth it. The movie that came on afterwards was something I was not planning on seeing, because I am not that big on watching anything that has to do with Ouija boards. They don't freak me out or anything, but I think it's just an ingrained religious thing that has been put into my brain from my parents or grandparents or someone that's don't mess with Ouija boards. It's witchcraft, or it's evil, it's the devil, whatever. Just don't mess with it. But I think on a personal level, aside from that ingraining thing in my head to avoid Ouija board stuff, I just don't think that they're all that interesting. It has to do with possession and ghosts and stuff like that, and I don't know, I'm really iffy about that genre of the supernatural. But I ended up staying and watching it with my friend at the time and his friends. So let me tell you what Ouija House is about. A girl takes her friends to a house with a dark past for a research project. They unwittingly summon an evil entity with plans of its own who makes the house part of its sinister game. Yeah, that's pretty much the gist. So one of the guests that was featured at Texas Frightmare in 2018 was Misha Barton, who is most known for I think it was a CW show, the OC, but I've never really watched it. I mean, that's when Gilmore Girls and Dawson's Creek was really popular, and I just never got into stuff like that, cause yeah. Anyway, other actors that are worth mentioning that I know a lot of people recognized, or I recognized one and everybody else recognized the other, because I guess she's a very prolific horror movie actress, and I'm just okay. So I'll just, say it right now. I guess I'm a fake horror movie fan, because I just didn't know her. I just didn't recognize her, or whatever. But Tara Reid was in there, which I recognized immediately. I was just huh, she's in this. Okay. And the other that garnered many a cheers was Dee Wallace. Yeah. I am now recognizing her a little bit more in some of these movies, at least when I see her name. I was like, oh, okay, Dee Wallace is in that movie. I know a lot of horror movie fans love some Dee Wallace, but I haven't gotten there yet, I guess. I wasn't sure what I was getting myself into when I watched this movie, because I don't even know if I actually read the description to it in the program, but I mean the title says it for itself. The house is a big old giant Ouija board. So, since I haven't seen this movie in a couple of years, I had to, of course, rewatch it so I could properly review it, because it's been 2 years, and all I remembered was lots of laughing and hilarity, and that one character that kept banging her head against the wall and screaming because she's possessed. So it is available on Amazon Prime for free with ads, which is not that big of a deal. At least the ads that I saw there were just like short little 10-second like ads that were saying, hey, we have IMDb TV, and then moves on. This movie still gives me the same feeling I felt when I first saw it at TFW. The movie starts off with, of course, Tara Reid being a young Catherine or whatever, and her and two other people decide, oh, let's talk to some spirits with this Ouija board, blah, blah, blah. Of course, bad stuff happened. Fast forward to our main character, and then her group of friends decide, oh, let's go to, I think it's her aunt's house. And then she's there, and in comes, here we are, Misha Barton, she's there. So they decide, all right, let's, play around with some spirits with this Ouija board that I found, because why not? Also, creepy doll. And they talk to this spirit named Roka, and Roka wants to play this game called, I think it's Guess the Word, or Guess a Word. And so they throw in some letters, and you're supposed to unscramble the letters to figure out what the word that Roka is thinking of. And a lot of the time it's hard to figure out what, there's multiple words that you can make out of these letters. One of them was, you had an I, E, V, and L or something like that. And you can spell live, live, evil, you got veil, you got a lot, vile. There's so many choices. And if you get the answer wrong, consequences occur. That's why you shouldn't play with Ouija boards, guys. Well, anyway, I already knew bad stuff was going to happen to certain characters, because we have this black character who we already know was going to die. He wasn't going to, make it because he's a black character. Unless they do some ground-breaking stuff and, let him live, which would be great. Let's, kill the stereotype of killing off the black or minority character first. At least make them second or third or something. Then we have his girlfriend, who is kind of, I don't know, stereotypical, slutty or easy or very sexualized or very sexual or something. Which, of course, they're not going to bode well for a while. So I'm trying to remember what happened to said Ouija board, because they start playing on this Ouija board and then the ghost decides, nope, I don't want to play anymore, I'm gone, bye. And then they're like, okay, well, let's try this again, because really the whole goal is they're trying to figure out what happened to the people who were originally in her aunt's house. And then, of course, this lore comes up about Roka and this whole, thing that happened way in the past, that you can just go watch the movie and figure out the history and stuff of it. And so, Slutty Girl, who I will not look up the name because I'm too lazy to look up her actual character's name, decides, oh, well, even though I felt uneasy about everything, she's trying to, change things up by, drinking a little alcohol, forgetting, what bad things could happen, and she decides to make her own body as a Ouija board, because why not? Terrible idea, of course, because she becomes instantly possessed by this evil spirit, and then she becomes is it a totem? Or, I don't remember the name of the shape that's like this, that you use, the viewfinder that goes over the letters, like that. She becomes a human, that piece. And they find out that there are letters and numbers hidden behind the wallpaper of the walls of the house, and she ends up like yelling and screaming, and she runs, and then she ends up like banging her head or violently like tearing at the walls, and they realize that the whole house is a Ouija board. Hence title. This movie was not good. It was hilariously bad, and I remember when I watched it the first time that like me and my friend at the time, we laughed through the whole thing while his friend was actually scared, and we were just like, are you serious? There's nothing scary about this. It was just so ridiculous, and especially that girl being possessed was just hilarious and not scary. Just the way she was acting, I'm like, that was the choice that you decided to go with. I will spoil one little part. The black guy does not die first, so it's a little spoiler. Does he actually survive? You'll have to find out for your own, but I mean, I'm sure there is someone out there who this movie is for, but it is definitely not for me. Like I said, I am not that big of a fan of Ouija movies, but this movie made me laugh, and I'm sure that was not the purpose of this movie. It is definitely not a comedy. Sure, there are parts that are supposed to be funny, but I think the parts that are supposed to be scary were just hilarious to me. Like, I just could not take this movie seriously. It's just so silly. But, I mean, overall, it wasn't a terrible movie. It just isn't a movie for me. And that's not a bad thing. Like, you can watch movies and just be like, I am not the audience for this. I'm sure someone liked it. But there's nothing really inherently bad about it. I just think it was just really goofy. But I thought, all of the actors did a really good job. Even Tara Reid, she did great. Watching it at home was a different experience because, of course, I was watching it by myself, and it was at home and not on like a big screen with like a bunch of people to like gauge their reactions or bounce off jokes or whatever. I still found it pretty entertaining, which I guess is a really good thing for any kind of movie, whether it's good or bad. As evidenced with Suicide Squad. I enjoy entertaining stuff. Like, if I'm entertained, I think you did a good job then. If I am hella bored, then you did an awful job. And also, if I am inherently enraged, you did a very, very bad thing then. But this one did not bore me. It did not make me mad. I just found it funny and silly, and it was just like, yeah, this was kind of fun. Would I watch it a third time? Most likely not. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure down the line, years from now, maybe I'll be like, hey guys, you want to see the silly Ouija movie? That's not that great, but I mean, it's decent, I guess. So, if I had to give this movie a rating, I would give it, I guess, a 2.5 out of 5, because, like I said, it's a pretty decent movie. It just wasn't for me. And, of course, like I said, if you want to watch it, of course, you can purchase it yourself on DVD, or you can watch it like I did on Amazon Prime for free if you have a Prime account. You can also, rent it on a higher definition, too, on Prime, but I'm sure it's also available in other places like YouTube and stuff. But it used to be on Hulu, and then Hulu just made it disappear, so that's the thing. Misha Barton also had another movie that they showed at Texas Frightmare that year, and I wanted to see that over Ouija House, but I didn't get to watch it for some reason. I think it came on the same time as something else, or maybe I was busy and I just totally forgot about it. I have to find it elsewhere because it used to be on Hulu, but now Hulu took it off, so now I have to go dig around and find it somewhere else. It is called Toy Box. I'm not sure if I will do a video review of it, but I definitely do want to see it and check it out. I did find it on YouTube, so that's a thing that'll happen at some point. I'll see where the review will go, whether I'll do it like this or put it on Medical the blog. But yeah, so that's the review. Let me know if you have seen Ouija House, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more stuff that I do here on Medical Madhouse, you can hit that subscribe button below. Also, I do give early access and other little extra perks through Patreon. So if you want to become a Medicult patron, you can support me there. The link's in the description below, of course, and at the end of the video. Of course, you do not have to financially support me. Just watching this video and interacting with me is more than enough. I'll see you guys next time in another video. Take care, everybody. Peace.